Well, hi everyone. Thanks for letting me join. As Anne said, I get to talk about advocacy today, which I know for some people is not the most exciting thing to talk about, but for me, I love it. And I'm going to do two things. I'm going to talk about our advocacy efforts, and then I'm also going to talk about how you guys can get involved and help us in our advocacy efforts. And I thought it would be most helpful if we started with our most recent advocacy success. And I know some of you on this call have been helping us with this. So a thank you to all of you who have done stuff already. But maybe if we could just do a show of hands or a head nod, how many of you guys are familiar with the SSDI bill that we'd been working on to reduce the 5-month waiting period? Does that sound familiar? Okay. To some of you, okay, it has. Well, this was a huge recent success. So for those that don't know, ALS is an automatically qualifying disease for Social Security disability benefits. And for the longest time, what that meant is when you got diagnosed, you would be eligible for these, but then you would have to wait 5 months until you could actually access them. So we worked really hard over the last 6 years to get this bill passed. And I'm happy to say that now, when somebody is diagnosed with ALS and they qualify for Social Security, they automatically get access to these benefits. And for those that don't know, this was not an easy thing to come to. It really took thousands of volunteers being willing to share their story, being willing to call their members of Congress, send emails, things like that, to make this success happen. So we know that these things are incredibly important. And there's a bunch of them that we're working on this year. So the first thing I'm going to ask you about, and I hope you guys don't mind if I share my screen, but the first thing I'm going to ask is for your help becoming an ALS advocate. And that means becoming part of our advocacy network, because again, if it weren't for people like you, I know Karen and Clay and some others have already helped us with these things, and we are incredibly thankful for that. But I'm going to share my screen because the first thing I'll do is walk you through. If you have not signed up to be an advocate, I'm going to show you how you can do it. And hopefully you will agree that this is a simple thing. So give me a second while I pull this up. Okay, so on the screen, are you seeing the sign that says ALS Advocacy? Okay, so this is our national webpage. So if you just go to als.org and click on this top button that is titled Advocacy, this takes you to our homepage where we keep all of our information about what is going on with our advocacy efforts. And then I'm going to show you how to become an advocate. So you click on Action Center, and hopefully this will scroll over with the screen. Okay, perfect. Anne's giving me a good head nod. So what we ask of you is to simply enter your name, your address, and we need your address because we need to make sure that when we're going to send you alerts, they're going to the right senator and representative who represent you. So we ask for your address and your email. So you simply complete this, you hit submit, and that gets you entered to become an ALS Association Advocacy advocate. Now, I'll stop this. So what does that mean for you? So what happens is when we have a really important ask coming up. So let's say we needed research funding, and we needed senators to vote in support of that research funding. And we know that it's going to be brought up to the Senate floor in the next couple of weeks. We will send you, once you sign up for this, we will send you an email. And again, I'm going to show you this to you just so you can see what it looks like, so you're prepared if you were to get one. All right, so is that showing the action alert? So this is what a typical email would look like that you would get that is an action alert. I promise you, we will not inundate your inbox with emails every day saying, ask this, ask that. These are very targeted asks, like I said, where we know something's coming up. Now, the beauty of this, we really truly try to keep it as simple as we can for everybody. So you can see in this email, there are a couple of areas where it will be hyperlinked. All you have to do is click on those hyperlinks, and that will bring you directly to our Action Center. All right, I'll stop that. And once you get to this Action Center, so again, we have your address already, so that's simple. So we know who your US senators and your US representative are. Click these links, it takes you to the Action Center, and the beauty is you will come to an email that is already pre-populated with all of the key information that needs to go to these congressional offices. And what we ask, you don't have to do it, but I think it's one of the most meaningful things that you can do as somebody living with ALS or a family member of somebody with ALS. And that is to share some of your own personal story. So if the ask is, say, about research and why we are asking our senators or representatives to fund ALS research, you could talk in this email. You can add additional information to say, this is why research is so important to me. This is why I need you to support this ask. Add as much or as little as you want. And then all you have to do is hit submit. And that email goes directly to our members of Congress, their offices. And you may ask, does it really work? Is it really important? My answer to that is absolutely yes. Know that I will talk to congressional offices, so Senator Smith's office or Senator Thune's office, and I'll get calls from their staffers saying, hey, Marianne, I just got like 3 action alerts on this bill. It sounds kind of important. I think the senator should support it. Tell me more about it. So I want you to know these really do make a difference, and we really hope people will sign up and become an advocate. Oh, perfect. Can you show how to register again? Yep, I certainly can. And we can also include this in an email afterward to show you. So I'll share my screen real quick. So the first part where you start is our ALS.org website. And from there, you click on this top link called Advocacy. And that takes you, sorry, my screen gets a little goofy here. And that takes you over to this Action Center where you can sign up, where you put your first name, last name, address, and email. And we can send some links and include links, Anne, I believe.
Yeah, I'll send the link out with the email with the recording, and we can also include it in the recording later.
Perfect. Perfect. So that's my first ask of you, is to consider becoming an advocate. It is truly one of the best ways and most influential ways where you can make your voice heard. And as much as I like to think that members of Congress want to hear from me, they don't. They want to hear from all of you, because your personal stories will leave a lasting mark with them, where me talking about bill details is going to kind of be like, that's great and all, but your personal stories are what will make them stop and think, I need to do something about this. So please consider that. The second thing I wanted to share is about our advocacy conference. So this typically happens end of May, early June every year, and it usually involves traveling to Washington, D.C. to become part of it. Well, the silver lining, I'm looking at it this way, of the pandemic, is that the advocacy conference this year is going to be virtual. And what that means is it gives everybody a unique opportunity to participate in this conference that is so impactful. So I just wanted to share a couple of dates. And again, we'll include some of these links afterward. So June 8th, 9th, and 10th, on each of those 3 days, there is going to be a webinar on things like the latest in research on optimizing care for people with ALS, advocacy, hot topics in advocacy. You can attend one of them, two of them, all three of them. And if you're signed up with our Action Center, you'll automatically get a notice about it. And if you aren't, you can let us know and we'll get you the links for it. But we want you to be aware of those because those are wonderful seminars and they're from leading experts in the United States. And then on June 17th is our National ALS Association Advocacy Day. This is the day we are asking people from all across the country to come together and connect with their members of Congress. Again, we're going to make this as simple as possible for you. So we're going to send you talking points if you want to call their offices. We'll send you an email script if you want to send an email. Again, and then we'll send you the addresses on how to do all that. So we'll do our best to make it as simple as possible. But again, just another way for you to have your voice be heard and help us move some of these really important asks forward. So the last thing I'm going to show you is the asks that we're actually going to be working on. And I won't go into details on them. But I think it's important just to see. All right, so is that showing the appropriations ask? Perfect. So the key thing that I want you to know about this is that this year, the ALS Association is asking Congress for over $250 million in ALS research funding and registry funding. And I know Anne, if there's time, is going to talk a little bit about the National ALS Registry. And you can see on the far left column, we're asking for $10 million to the CDC to fund that. But $250 million plus on ALS research. And I will share, this is a big ask. We know it's a big ask. Those of us that work at the association will say it's not nearly enough, and we know that. But it's about $100 million than we've asked for in the past. So we are really excited about it. And again, I'll stop sharing my screen. It's also the reason why we need everybody's willingness to help us share the importance of research, to share what it means to you. I'm hopeful we can get these added into the budgets this year and passed. I know it's going to be tough because of everything else going on, but I also know we have a very compelling message. And if we get enough people willing to share that message with Congress, I have no doubt they will look at these bills and say, yes, absolutely. I've been in meetings where senators will stop what they're doing and say, I'm in, just tell me whatever I can do. You're right. We need to do better and we need to do more. So that's the big focus that's going to be on our advocacy conference. And then also know, and I'll close it with this, there are other things we're continuing to work on that we've been working on, like making sure Medicare covers telehealth visits even after this pandemic subsides. We're working on things around how to help make sure people can get access to promising treatments, even if they're in the experimental stages of FDA trials. So we know these things are important. And I'll close by saying, I am always available if you have questions or comments. If there's anything that I can help answer or talk you through, I'm more than willing to do it. And we have a number of other advocates who have helped us over the years that I'm sure would also be willing to share their stories on how they've spoken to Congress members and things like that. So I will pause my comments on advocacy and see if there are any questions that people have that I can answer right now.
Hi guys, thanks for being here this afternoon. And yeah, so as Anne said, I'm Corey Libby. It's so good to see some of your faces. And I, excuse me, I'm one of the care service coordinators with the ALS Association. And I help support our Herbexing communication and assistive technology program, as well as our DME program and our smart home program. So Val and I are going to touch base a little bit today on the smart home program, but would be open to any other questions that you guys have too. So I'll let Val introduce herself and then we can share a little bit more.
Hi, everyone. I'm Valerie Bardier. And if you've ever received any kind of communication equipment or smart home equipment, it was probably mailed from me. And I've been working with the chapter for 11 years in this program. And so anytime there's a technological need, feel free to email me, myself or Corey or anyone in the care services team, and we'll follow up with you. So.
Wonderful. So I'm just going to share my screen. I have a PowerPoint put together. And so I will go through what the smart home technology program is, as well as some of the things we offer and what it can do for you. And then we will open it up for a question at the end if you guys have any specific questions. So, okay. All right. Can you see that, Anne? Okay, perfect. So smart home and ALS, what it does is it just allows us to maintain your independence with technology. So what is smart home? What smart home is it's that it takes basic home amenities and they have been fitted with technology to allow the consumer to control it without any physical contact. So that could be through voice control or through remote control. That control does require, like I said, some degree of automation. So that would be like voice control or a remote control. So what a lot of the devices that we have could be controlled through your iPad or smartphone or other tablets. So the devices in the home are connected via a network, otherwise known as internet or Wi-Fi. And you can monitor those home devices from smart home apps, smartphones, or other network devices like computers, iPads, or tablets. Okay, why is this not progressing? I apologize, you guys. All right, you guys, I am not.
Sorry, I don't know how to be helpful.
I know. It's just not progressing. It's like it did and then it didn't. Okay, so what does this mean for you and your loved ones? What the smart home does is we found that it really promotes independence. It allows people to control their environment. So you will hear the term environmental controls frequently when referring to smart home because it just does allow you to control those things around you. It contributes to the person's overall well-being by making more connection with friends, family, and caregivers. And this also is allowing us to create an accessible home a lot easier and cheaper than we were able to do in the past. It just does, it like keeps making me resume it, you guys. I'm so sorry. All right. So what do you need to make your home smart? As we mentioned before, you do need to have some sort of internet connection. There is some new devices on the horizon that Val and I are working on that may not require Wi-Fi, but right now that is kind of what we're focusing on. You do need to have a smartphone or some sort of tablet that we are able to connect those devices to control them. You can also use your computer, or you could use your communication device if somebody has like a Tobii Dynavox or other speech generating device. And then there also is like a hub or a smart speaker that everything will be controlled through. These are some examples of some of the smart speakers. The there are some of the larger speakers. Some of them do have screens. Some of the newer ones are the Echo Show that has kind of a video and allows people to do more of a FaceTime type communication with their loved ones.
And just to clarify, while Corey's moving forward, all of these are available from the ALS Association.
Yep. I've tried to include, again, these are all things that are changing. So I tell people to reach out to us because there may be something that is on the horizon because the technology is constantly changing. It's hard for us to always keep up with that. But definitely, these are all things that we have listed, we currently have available. So these are some of the accessories that you will see. We do have the Fire Cube up at the top. There is also a Fire Stick, which allows the individual to control their TV through their device. There is a Ring doorbell, which allows individuals to identify who is at their door and also talk to them so they can communicate with them to let them know that they are going to be coming to the door, and also just letting them know if they can get in or out. There is a Nest thermostat. We do also have light bulbs, which allows you to turn the lights on and off through voice activation or remote. There are also plugs that individuals can plug like a fan or a heater into and independently control turning that on and off. We also have cameras. So again, that just allows individuals, so say your loved one is in the house and you want to be able to work out in the yard, it allows you to check in on them and just see how things are going and again, communicate with them. So what can it do for you? There are a variety of things that it can do, but the safety features are one of the main things. So the smart speakers or the hubs that we talked about allows the individual to call for help. They can use it as a phone. It is not something that's connected to emergency help. However, you can program it so that it could call a loved one, call a neighbor, or as Val and I have said to people, maybe programming in a non-emergency number for the local police or fire department that they could call. It also allows you to have speakers in multiple rooms so that individuals can use it more as an intercom system. So if your loved one is sleeping on the main floor and somebody's on the upper level of the home, you can use that as an intercom system. Or I have had loved ones that will actually put one out in the garage so they can work out in the garage. Again, the locking and unlocking doors, that is something that is new and coming up on the horizon that we have heard of recently and our partners are able to install, but it allows you to voice control the lock on your door. So you can ask the door to unlock or the door to lock. And that way, if somebody is home alone, they can control that better too, as well as with the video doorbell identifying who's at the door. The camera, again, for safety monitoring, some of those speakers have the camera available. Otherwise, the Wise camera is an excellent option to allow individuals to just kind of check in on each other. The speakers will also, you can set up reminders. So you could set up a calendar reminder, or you could set up medication reminders, which is really helpful for some people. Again, the environmental controls that we've kind of talked about is it allows you to control lights, fans, heaters, TV, thermostat. If you want to get really fancy, not something that we have offered yet, but some things that have come along are faucets, shower heads, hospital beds. They're really coming along with this. So this stuff is always changing and progressing, which is neat. And then also just for leisure activities, individuals can use their speaker to play music. They can ask it to play music. They can listen to audiobooks. They can listen to podcasts. They can ask it to assist them with meditation. And they can also make a shopping list. So rather than having to write a list down, it allows them to just add things to their shopping list. So in order to get the smart home products through us, you do need to be registered with the ALS Association. Again, have Wi-Fi. However, that may be something we can work around that we've discovered probably just in the last week. Have some sort of a smartphone or a tablet. We do have iPads and other tablets available through the association. So if that is something that is needed, you can definitely reach out to us and ask for that as well. And just to get it, really requesting that you can either contact the ALS Association directly at info@alsmn.org, or you can contact myself, which is Corey@alsmn.org.
There's no other way to say that you can be independent. Not being able to do or go places that you've usually gone to, it is a real emotional drain. It keeps people in good mental health.
They're there, just, hearing what our struggles are. And we know that they've got a heart for our situation and they've dealt with these kind of things before, that we can just bring any and all struggle that we have. And if there's anything that they have, if it's, just advice or if it's equipment, they'll say, hey, how about this? And we give it a try, and most of the time it works. So yeah, we just, we know that we can lay in front of these guys, whatever is happening, and be part of our team and brainstorm on a solution with us.
I would describe our durable medical equipment loan program as meeting the needs of people living with ALS and their caregivers in a very timely fashion. So we have a wide variety of equipment that we try to turn around very quickly with our partners to get to folks sooner rather than later.
First of all, it's free, amazing, and the items that we carry are extremely expensive. So for the time period that people are living with ALS, they save thousands of dollars.
We do require that a therapist recommend all pieces of equipment. So what that means is a therapist that you're seeing in clinic or that is coming to your home is going to recommend that to us through a process that I think we have pretty well honed by phone or by email.
I was so grateful that the ALS Association was plugged into the clinic, because as we would meet with people at the clinic, they could spot, the need for the lift, which came next. And so, just being in a team, just working hand in glove with the ALS Association, the recognized need for that, plugging us directly into the people. I mean, things were getting ordered before we would even leave the clinic.
Yeah, timely equipment is paramount. Again, they are losing mobility faster and faster every day. And also along with that, they're losing independence. So the quicker that we can give out equipment, the more independent they can stay, which is a nice peace of mind for the person with ALS and a huge burden off of the caregiver.
I mean, it's a great resource for everyone in my position. I mean, again, it's a loan closet.
Yeah.
These items are free for you to use.
Yeah.
So take advantage of that and use them.
Yeah.
So we provide all services from delivery, pickup, donations, and service or repair.
And for us, it's like you don't know what you don't know. You don't even realize what type of resources are available. But between the folks at the clinic and the folks at the association working together, they do know what the inventory is, all the different resources, and they're the ones that can give us a heads up even ahead of time. So that, I think, is what we're really grateful for.
So we operate the loan pool, and it's a very large equipment sharing. Well, it's like a library. You check things in, you check it out, and it saves most people thousands upon thousands of dollars over the year. I'm going to unplug it, and I'm just going to give you guys a quick tour of the loan pool, if that's okay. Sorry if it's shaky cam. All right, here we go. Start on the main side here with the power chairs. So this goes all the way down. You can see that. That's all power chairs. Over here we have bath equipment. And it's all protected by plastic coverings right now, just so things don't get dusty. Bedside tables. Scooters are over here just for spring and summer use. We're getting a lot of requests for these right now, so got to get your order in if you want one. We've got manual wheelchairs and transport wheelchairs. Sorry, I'm getting a little stuck in here. Got a whole bunch of mattresses up on these racks. And four-wheel walkers over in this corner. But a lot of what we do is based off of donations. So we have like a whole area up front where we keep donated items so that we can put them into inventory. As you can see right now, we have quite a few to process over in this area. So there's always a ton to do. You should know that this is the largest loan pool of 6. So we do come to this location 2 days of the week, Tuesdays and Fridays. And we process equipment and get it together and make sure it's cleaned. Chris, do you have anything that you want to say?
It's a really busy warehouse where we get lots of help from Reliable Medical to provide these services. I think Tiffany really covered most of it. But we'd really like to know what your questions are around this equipment loan pool, if you have any.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we work closely with the clinical staff at the ALS clinics. Once you are seen by the clinical staff, your therapist will contact us, usually either by phone or by our equipment email address, which is equipment@alsmn.org. I'm sure several of you are familiar with this already. I know I've spoken to a lot of you. So your therapist will request the equipment and they will give us the specifics of what you need. If we need more information, we'll give you guys a call and see if the equipment will fit into your home. And then we'll work with our loan pools, Reliable, Avera Home Medical, Sanford Health, Essentia in Duluth, New Motion out in Rapid City, and Reliable also in Rochester. And we'll work with our partners to get the equipment delivered or serviced or cleaned or whatever it is that you're needing.